Hello guys, Charlie here from Top My Music. This time we're looking at a bit of jazz and starting to venture into how you make your chord progressions sound a little bit more jazz-like. If you're just starting out and you just know your basic sort of bar chords, beginner open chords, this is a great place to start. The most logical place to start really is with the 2-5-1 progression, which we're going to do it in C today, which basically means you take the 2 chord of the key, which in this case is D minor. We turn that into a D minor 7. We're then going to take the 5 chord of the key, which is a G. We're going to turn it into a G7. Okay, and then you take the 1 chord of the key, which is a C, and we're going to turn that into a C major 7. Now there's various extensions and things you can put on each of those chords, but for now we're just going to keep with a D minor 7 to a G7 to a C major 7. Alright, I should talk about the right hand technique. When you're sort of interested in playing jazz, really you need to be focused on using finger style essentially. I mean, you can go with a pick, but for the moment really it's important that you try and get used to using the fingers and using this approach where, for example, if I pick the D minor 7 chord, I've got that with my my thumb on the 5th string playing the bass note, and then my remaining 1, 2, 3 fingers playing the 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings respectively. So you've got that sound, and I'm plucking motion where I'm pulling the strings. Is how you get that kind of, as a piano player would, just get that instant sound rather than, you know, it's a little bit different. So you get that short, sharp approach by playing like that. So it's really worth investigating your right hand and trying to get that down the thumb, and then the remaining 3 fingers for all these chords. Generally we're dealing with quite small chords. You're not getting kind of big G's or anything like that. You want these kind of smaller voicings where everything leads neatly and nicely, and that's really what we're getting at today. So that to start, we're going to start with a D minor 7 chord by having your middle finger on the 5th string, 5th fret. Your first finger goes on the 3rd fret, 4th string. Then on the 3rd string you pop 3rd finger on the 5th fret, and finally your little finger jumps on that 6th fret, 2nd string. That's your D minor 7 chord, okay? So try and just get used to that, take your fingers off, put them back on, make sure you can see it's a bit different from our usual bar chord, but this is a nicer way of kind of getting the way the chord voices and the way it leads. It's a much nicer and a much more, dare I say, sort of jazz approach to kind of basic sort of forming chord. So it's your D minor 7, then you're going to go on to form a G7. Now with this is really a bar at 3rd fret. So you're going to bar all of 3rd fret with your first finger as you would in any other bar chord. Your middle finger's going on that, it's going on the 3rd string, 4th fret. Okay, now if you can, we're going to put the little finger on the 6th fret of the 2nd string. Get that sound there. Now one of the reasons we're doing that is because coming from the D minor 7, that's an F note there on the top. If we can hit our G7 chord and get the same note in, you've got a lovely continuity. Rather than if you were doing it sort of differently, you might get not a lot of difference, I realise, but it's a nice sound if you can get that in. And it also helps you, it forms a foundation for understanding how melody is formed and how it works within chords. So if you can get that down, so you've got D minor 7 there, G7 there. Now that's going to morph into a C major 7. For the C major 7, you're using your root on your 5th string at the 3rd fret. Again, you're going to bar that with your first finger. You're going to put your middle finger on the 4th string, 3rd fret. Your 3rd finger on the 5th string, 4th string, 5th fret, and then that little finger pops in on the 2nd string, 5th fret. So you've got that kind of sort of triangle shape, backwards triangle with the bar, okay, and that's your C major 7. So those are your basic chords. You've got D minor 7, G7, C major 7. And you notice that top note for the C major 7, it does move, but only by a semitone. So you get that nice, again, the continuity. So those kind of things are a good place to start, and obviously there's a million and one ways to play these chords, unfortunately, but it's a good starting point from a jazz point of view. So we've got D minor 7, G7, C major 7. Okay, so little things you can do with the rhythm on that as well to practice. Something, if we just talk about rhythm, we're going to start by just build it from the bottom. We're going to start just pushing the chord. So we're going to have a bar of D minor 7, a bar of G7, and 2 bars of C major. So we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1. Okay, so we're still trying to hold that swing. Okay, so and I'm coming in on the and of 4 every time on every chord. So on the D minor 7, we go 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2. D minor 7, 2, and 3, G7, 2, and G major 7, C major 7, D minor 7, 2, 3, G7, C major 7. Okay. So that's how we're going to start with the rhythm. Get the values right. So you've got a bar each of the D minor and the G7, and then 2 bars of C major 7. Okay, now you can keep it. We'll change the rhythm a bit. We'll cut it up a bit. So we go. So there I'm just playing on 1 and 2 and. Okay, so you're playing on the 1 and the and of 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2. Okay, keeps a bit very typical cliched sort of jazz rhythm there. See if you can push the speed a bit just for fun. You know, it's quite a good exercise to get. Okay, so there's a few things you could do there. Okay, now we're also going to look at sliding. So I quite like to do things where you go. Okay, so I'm keeping the same rhythm to start with the D minor, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then on the G, on your first hit you hit it on the 1, but then on the you do a very quick slide. Okay, so that slide, the difficulty with sliding chords is that you've got to keep the pressure on for that time that you're sliding, because if you won't get it. Okay, so so just practicing that. So D minor 7, G7. And then C major 7. Now it's probably, you know, you can vary that up, mix it up, play around. I'd probably say just maybe slide on the C major, you know. So you just slide. It's very subtle, you know, very subtle little things, but just to help spice things up, it's all about the little bits that make it interesting. All right. So those are a few things you can do there. Get the chord shape. Okay, and get used to just moving between, and then you can start to sort of add a few other things. We're just going to expand on those chords very quickly. We're going to just add some little extensions to them. All right, so instead of a D minor 7, we're going to create a D minor 9, which has got a slightly darker sound to it. I love the sound. D minor 9 always sounds good. Now to do that, you've got your D minor 7 as we had before, but you're going to move your little finger. It goes back a fret that way, so it comes from the 6th fret. And it moves onto the 5th fret with your third finger as well. So it's come from being an F to an E, and that's what makes it a D minor 9. Now a D minor 9 works in this context because that E that we've created is actually diatonic to the key of C, which can be a bit of a confusing concept. I think for now, until you've established a good understanding of the basics harmony, I really wouldn't worry about it too much. All right. What we need to know for now is that a D minor 7 on most instances can be changed to a D minor 9. Can we get that sound? Okay, we're going to take the next chord, the G7 is going to now become a G13, because the note that we had on the 6th fret of the 2nd string, an F, we're going to bring that down a semitone and bring it to 5th fret, giving us a 13, which also means that they now share a note, those chords. They share their top note. D minor 9, G13. Now I must say on the G13, I'm actually only playing the 6th string, the 4th string, the 3rd string, and the 2nd string. I'm missing the 5th string altogether, which in a lot of cases you do end up doing because of the 5th of that's the 5th of the chord, which can just be a little bit make things a bit crowded, you know. And we want just, or, you know. So D minor 9, G13, and we're going to change it a little bit. I mean, you could do a few things here. You could go C major 7, but instead we're going to go D minor 7, G13 to a C6-9, okay, which is a lovely chord, beautiful sort of jazz chord to finish on. C6-9, again, you're keeping the same root, middle finger though, this time, on your 3rd fret, 5th string. Your first finger comes in and bars on the 2nd fret, the 4th and 3rd strings, and then your 3rd finger pops down and hits that 3rd fret, 2nd string, the D. So you get strings from the 5th downwards, 5th string, 5th string, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 2, 2, sorry, 3, 2, 2, 3. So that's your C6-9, which again will work in any context where the C chord or whatever chord needs to be major. 6-9 will work. It doesn't work if you're playing, you know, Sweet Home Alabama, but in this context it's going to work. So you've got D minor 9, G13, and C6-9. Okay, so you go. Okay, so if I play the first progression, we've got, which is lovely, you know, it works. One more time. So that's a D minor 7, G7, C major 7. Okay, now I'm going to change D minor 9, G13, C6-9. Okay, so it's a bit of a different sound. Okay, and we're putting in that rhythm again. So it's just a good place to start these chords. And I mean, if you can appreciate what they're called, okay, and chord types, that's kind of something a little bit different. There's some other lessons I've done that move you on to that, but purely from a point of view of picking up the guitar and having a little go and making something sound jazzy. Main things are, you know what your roots are. That's a D, that's a G, that's a C, all right? You know what shapes there are, so you can move that. That D can then become an F, you know, or a F minor 9 or an E flat minor 9. That G13 can become a B13, you know, all these chords are movable. It's the beauty of the guitar, obviously, everything moves around. So take those chords and experiment, but the 2-5-1 is one of the best places to start because it's the foundation of all jazz, really. Well, you know, and all the tunes. If you're learning tunes like "Fly Me to the Moon," you know, "Autumn Leaves" is 2-5-1s all over the place, really, and it just moves around a certain cycle. So if you can get that used to that sort of thing, it will lay you in good stead for learning jazz tunes and improvising a bit later on. Get those chords down, explore the shapes, have a little bit of fun with them, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.